possibly be keeping the repair personnel
Time for
so long?
discounts.
Oh, greetings. By any chance, did you happen to encounter the repair personnel I dispatched to Resistor Bank 2789B12? Our new JTY-1030 resistor banks are built with enough durability to suffer through a tremendous amount of misuse. But the brutish handling by the Protectorate is too much for it. The misuse is causing moisture uptake, which causes the resistors to give off more heat. In the snow, that means more moisture, which means even more heat. I'm sure you can observe that the problem is cyclical in nature. I don't suppose you'd be willing to aid me in fixing this? It's down in the valley just southwest of the archive. The heat has liquefied all the snow off the glass surface. It is an easy location to observe. Ursopods, Protectorate forces, rogue scrappers, blizzards, mantisaurs, maybe even Auntie's choice forces. Truly a smorgasbord of unfortunate options. In the short term, it's wreaking havoc with the weather and causing small, localized blizzards. Long term, the archive would suffer irreparable damage to multiple systems. Undoubtedly, this would reduce its maximum operations per millisecond. Obviously, this is unacceptable. I loathe that, for now, our actions may aid the Protectorate. But we must protect the archive. Oh, this is most appreciated. Unfortunately, the previous repair personnel took the only repair kit I had on hand. I'll mark the coordinates of the resistor bank on your map, but locating the repair personnel will be up to you. If you find him, you find the kit. I hope. Otherwise, the repair will be most difficult. I'll guide you.
This weather is quite conducive for cooling the archive, and unconducive for me feeling my fingers.
I find your proposed time frame leisure. Unaccountably so.
But going any faster grossly increases the threat of collapse. Burying us beneath the snow benefits no one.
So long as we are operating within the statistical parameters given to us, I see absolutely no reason to delay. Pick up the pace.
I suppose I could spare 0.004% of my daily cycle to say hello.
Stop that scrounging around.
Happy to chat for 0.07 seconds. Oh, time's
Can't
up.
talk.
Bye.
Calculating an inverse complex sine function in my head.
Have you at least determined the cause of the avalanche?
watching.
Think thrice before rabble-rousing. We
Please
have
don't
numerical
distract me
superiority.
from my more pressing distractions.
Hold. We're presently observing a ceasefire with Auntie's choice, but its duration may be subject to sudden reversal. Would hate for you to get caught in any crossfire. Gathering data on the enemy's movements and behavior. Blizzards raise the degree of difficulty, but that's our problem, not yours. Cloister has been a difficult front, and losing the archive, first to the invaders and now to the Protectorate, has made it even more painful. Never mind the rifts. If you're looking for a way to help us out, I recommend heading to Laplace's garden. Follow this path and you can't miss it. There were rifts since before the invasion, of course, but those were relatively stable. We've had no end to the headaches caused by the ones that have spawned since. Lost Newton to a bunch of rift worshippers after a rift appeared on the bridge to the archive. They're obsessed. Keep hoping they'll save us some trouble and throw themselves in. Thankfully, the presiding bishop and the Laureate Council have the rift problem well in hand. So they say. I'll need to test the proof before accepting the solution, you know? See that giant glowing structure in the distance there? That's the archive's main entry point. However, I'd caution you to give it a wide berth. The archive's under Protectorate control, and they mean to keep it. You'll not gain access without serious military support. For every problem, a solution. That's the Order way. Though if we were capable of retaking the archive, I assume we would have done it by now. Never hurts to ask, though. Only the finest place on this ice ball. Words aren't sufficient to capture its many quality attributes. Best you observe it yourself. Avalanche collapsed part of the tunnel to the garden, so the safest path is along the cliffside here. Mind your step. Wish we'd built the archive someplace warmer.
See that spire? That's the archive right there. The archive.
Please don't take me on a co-tangent.
Are you going to be a problem? Because I have a solution that requires very little computation.
Test your hypothesis elsewhere.
Did you receive your personalized...
No reason to reason with
I'll admit to a bit of trepidation.
Show
in
your
regards to
work,
opening
shove
mine.
off.
This is the first one I've received since deployment. Cause trouble and I will school you. Chapter and verse. Use caution as you progress. There's been reports of arthropods in the area. Try not to deviate from the norm.
Please keep your behavior within acceptable parameters.
The plan is always in motion, so move along.
Free to take.
You're not going to be a problematic variable,
I
are
have
you?
too much on my mind for idle numerical chick.
Not watching.
Heard that rift near the archive has destabilized. Must be a sign. The Protectorate's latest action clearly runs counter to the plan. Mark my supposition. It's only a matter of time until we're called upon to take back the archive. Don't cause any trouble.
You have a very non-scholarly look about you.
Agent, I have a message for you.
I've got your numeral. Keep moving.
On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant, and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. Belvedere Hall used to serve primarily as the garden's hub for all manner of research, instruction, and study. A beacon on the hill of progress. Since the Order's forced dispossession of Spyreton and the Archive, many spaces within the hall have been repurposed to serve as a temporary headquarters. Which is to say, please excuse our mess, we're still remodeling. Oh no, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan. The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? All conflict is transient in nature. To dwell on the negativity of a moment is to risk missing the opportunity of what comes next. Those in the garden have enough perspective to remain present and to focus on what matters: science and progress. It may seem like I'm speaking from a position of luxury and privilege, but it is a privilege the Order hopes to share with all one day. Oh, I nearly forgot. Vicar Alden also asked me to direct you to him. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard, at the top of the stairs. May all your problems precede solutions. Enjoy your time in the garden.
Is it just me? Or does something seem... Oh, never mind. Did you need something? May all our
Mind your truth table P's and Q's now.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today.
Line up pockets.
To worry. Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested?
Data that is gathered, collated, and subjected to analysis. But what is the role?
Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional?
It will land on heads with a 1 in 2 chance, or tails with a 1 in 2 chance. But are there really 2 outcomes? Is there not one?
No need to start chewing erasers. I'll be gentle. Promise.
With complete information, there can be no chance. Only outcome.
Certainly. Here you are. I haven't spied you around before. New project appointment? Must be an adjustment, all things considered.
We come to one of the most difficult concepts in the Order for initiates to grasp. If the result of the flip of a coin is known to be heads, is it necessary to flip the coin?
I see. And what lucky department have you been apportioned to? Surely it must be one of the big 3.
And proceed with whatever action that flip was intended to choose. If so, what part of that choice was
I'm sure. Once on a lab tray, even the most addled mind yields knowledge.
You know, you do a passable impression of a scientician. Did you grow up near one of our settlements? Have a few years of order training?
I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I understand you may technically count as a member, but there's a perfunctory element to your articulation. You don't believe in the plan, and you're clearly up to something. She sized you up almost immediately, Commander. Been softly probing you for information. I clocked her the first moment she opened her mouth.
No, not a travesty. Tragedy. A horror.
Appreciate that. I spent decades undercover with only self-affirmations to assuage my vacillating morale. Well, do I have to shoot up the place? Or will you come clean immediately? Who do you work for, little mole?
By the architect, keep your voice down, please. Even if what you say is true, this isn't a conversation best had amidst present company. Let's talk somewhere more private. Behind the calf integration point, perhaps?
Time for discounts.
Help us know. Contribute any and all things collected to our proud artists.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how pleased are you with the garden in its current state? Please, try to capture your exact satisfaction to the nearest 10th integer.
Oh, Sir, that's the right answer, isn't it? I can show my math if you need.
Your stay in LaFosse's garden is not the purpose of the survey, but your ambassador security
You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Kill you? When we're only just getting to know one another? On the contrary, I need your help proving a certain theory of mine. I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. One could make that argument, and obviously have. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us. Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. No. This is about control. Everything is. Most see this as a war of survival. But what everyone's really fighting for is control over the narrative. To be declared victor and have their vision for Arcadia deemed superior. It follows that a drug capable of suppressing discontent could also be used to suppress greater forms of resistance. That's all. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. Well, I'm not asking you to do something an honest person would. Think of this as a business transaction, if that eases your mind. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessible to those working in water reconditioning. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier. And I'd like to offload some of this merchandise. Sounds like a win-win.
Can't afford.
Agent, what do you need? May all...
Hello. Welcome to Kef Integration Point. I'm Junior Caffeine Celebrant Runch, and I'll be happy to assist you today. Oh, she's a real top-of-class type. Smart, but also patient. I struggle sometimes with my advanced courses, but Persephone's been tutoring me after work hours. Illicit? I'm not sure I understand your meaning. Oh, okay. Anything else I can help with? Apologies. As a junior celebrant, I'm only permitted to distribute caffeine at this time. But my colleague, Persephone, Miss Doyle, will be able to assist with convictions when she's back on shift. Oh. Is this another census? Were my previous answers not sufficient? The bi-weekly census about residency satisfaction. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? I could spend all day expositing on the benefits of the garden, but I think you'll experience much of it yourself. If you're permitted to stay, of course.
You're back. Any luck with the sample? No need to wait for permission. Ask them. I was assigned to the Order as a girl, but never really found my footing there. Too unfocused, they said. A distraction to others. Then the schism happened and everything went topsy-turvy. In all the chaos, an agent from Sub Rosa made contact. She made me an offer and I liked how the math worked out. If I had to theorize, Sub Rosa must have seen me as their in to the Order. And through them, I saw an eventual way out. My left pinky feels a little tingly. All jesting aside, no. I learned it's best not to exceed a moderate amount of caring when it comes to the actions of others. You'll only be disappointed.
What a lamentable state of affairs. I remember the days when Laplace's garden lived up to its estimable purpose. Now look at it. The fountain in disrepair, pedagogy in the park, even the lights above our heads have winked out like stars taken down from the sky. Nevertheless, one must persist. The plan is good. The shadow of ignorance cannot withstand its light. Oh, I couldn't say. This isn't my college, as it were. I'm a vicar. I tend to people's philosophical needs and leave the management of the garden to others. And purloin from you such a perfect opportunity to serve the plan? I wouldn't dare cogitate on it. Besides, I don't know the first thing about such repairs. Why, I'd be more apt to electrocute myself than anything else. This mind is like a steel trap, my dear. I never forget anything or anyone, but consider the idea thoroughly dismissed. I knew you had a knowledgeable look about you. That would be wonderful. Thank you, dear. There's a panel just here. I will supervise from a respectable distance, but know that I am with you in theory, like the architect's own guiding hand. You've returned, and yet the lights have not been restored. Curious.
You appear to present a low probability of risk.
A second makeup exam will knock me off, so I hope you studied this time, Brian.
Shh! If I'm caught talking during this makeup exam, what does it matter? Can't mark the occipital from the parietal with these voided questions. And is there something wrong with the air recyclers? It's getting hard to breathe. Oh, good. Just me then. Can't believe my future in the Order will be decided by an understanding of the vaporescent properties of trinitrotoluenes. I don't even like bitrotoluenes. My vision's gone a bit fuzzy, but the exam's right here on the monitor. Have a look. You asked! I'm already perspiring beyond acceptable odor levels, thank you. I'm sure I'd recover my wits enough to tackle the rest of the test if you can just help me make sense of the first question. Just be discreet, won't you? My vision's gone a bit fuzzy, but the exam's right here on the monitor. Have a look. I'm sure I'd recover my wits enough to tackle the rest of the test if you can just help me make sense of the first question. Just be discreet, won't you?
You okay? Seem off by a few decimal points.
No, it's fine. I should probably start familiarizing myself with custodial routines. Janitorial sciences. Here I come. Hmm?
Initiate Briar. Do you mean to defraud the Order of its time and resources? I could think of no other rationale for such unseemly conduct.
No, of course not. I'd never...
Cease talking, now, before I expel you from this class entirely.
Thanks for nothing.
You are most welcome. Hopefully that doesn't lead to her quitting the Order, becoming ruler of the Scrappers, and later seeking you out for revenge. Happened to me once.
Please, just leave me alone. You've done enough.
Yes, Commander. May all our...
I have nothing to say unless you want to discuss the inverse of the Planck function. In which case, I'll talk your ear off.
For pity's sake, is it the pump or the sealant?
You have a very non-scholarly look about you.
Agent, over here. Ah, there you are. I was informed by Gertie you've agreed to help us reconvene negotiations. With your aid, Auntie's choice and the Order will soon be rivals no longer. Just think of all we can accomplish if our two sides reject fractiousness and combine our efforts. Remember, seek out ways to help both sides. Engender trust. Gertie and I will let you know when it's time to move forward. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Our presiding bishop and Auntie Cleo can be challenging to debate with. Be the statistical exception to the natural state of entropy in the universe.
Industrial science is mostly theory, they said. You won't have to put your knowledge into practice for years, they said. Now the fountain's broken and I can't... Useless. I'm useless. Am I fretting? No. No one in the garden frets. Why would they? Well, there was Roberto. But then he was assigned to the delegation and... Should have been back by now, actually. I should have theorized as much. No one who leaves the garden returns. But I can't afford to let myself be distracted by speculation right now. We had an avalanche recently, not far from the dome. One of these fountains stopped working around the same time. Stands to reason something must have been jostled loose. I recently placed into the industrial sciences, so I've been entrusted to fix the issue. But I've never had to put my knowledge into application before. It's not going well. The garden is supposed to be perfect, not a stem or stamen out of place. Lack of perfection betrays carelessness, negligence, imprecision. It's basic causal inference. If I can't nip this issue in the proverbial bud, who knows what might happen as a result? Pressure keeps undisciplined minds out from positions of greater authority. That's just basic academia. You must be an agent of the architect. The panel here controls the intake and outtake for the fountains. I'd start there.
Access is currently restricted. Keep moving. Hey! Only security personnel are permitted in this booth. At this time, residents of Laplace's garden are not permitted beyond this point.
You know, you strike me as someone with a very small body of published
Smart
work.
researchers the scientician surplus. No more than what you need.
Time for discounts.
Welcome to the Scientician Surplus. I am the scientician in question. Any inquiries about the stock may be directed to me. Either you intend to buy or you intend to go without. It would be unethical for me to interfere with your decision-making process. It's there in the name, surplus. Please peruse with discernment.
Safety in numbers and enlightenment. And now a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
Can't afford.
every day treating... The operating theater is not conducting viewing dissections at this time. That is not an invitation to return to your study and perform exploratory surgery on yourself or a willing volunteer, just to be clear. Not as concerning as some of the scenes I have been called to in the middle of the night. I assure you, the warning is justified. But I trust you are here for a reason other than to discuss scalpel-happy novices. Obviously. Do you think we drink unfiltered snow melt? I'm quite sure I have no knowledge of what you're talking about. Are you feeling all right? Paranoia can be an early symptom of several more serious diseases. Apologies. I have so little that meets the threshold of my expertise. But I should not be projecting my wish for a challenge onto a patient. Let's forget this conversation. Is there anything else I can assist you with? That is best answered through observation. Here.
Line our pockets.
Strange to see all this vacant space after the overcrowding at MiKeYROG's mercy. Plenty of room for refugees here. If only the Order administrants got their act together.
Don't bother conversating unless you're prepared to cite your sources.
About the flowers fair.
Exposed?
Have an intellectually stimulating day.
Keep your digits where I can see them. Test your hypothesis elsewhere.
You have a very non-scholarly look about you.
A visitor.
It's for the best that you're talking to me now instead of mid-work. I do seem to have a slight propensity for stabbing randomly with my tools when interrupted, but I suppose that's enough time spinning in the statements column. Speak away. What are you... Beckett. Another prediction that he hasn't seen fit to notify me about. A more cynical exemplar might posit his doing this to be intentional. If you're here, I imagine you aim to petition the presiding bishop for her support, which is hardly a surprise. She is the most important individual in Arcadia. Not if I cannot gauge for certain if you can be trusted. I cannot allow just anyone to wander into Ruth's quarters. But there is something you could do to prove yourself worthy. A myriad of cultists have taken over the settlement of Newton, which is a nearby site of historical but not strategic significance. I want them gone. Once there was a bridge stretching from the settlement to the archive, but it was destroyed by a rift. Best keep your distance should you travel there. If the Order could predict the future infallibly, my mentors would be alive. Seers become less accurate, the more specific and more distant the prediction. All that aside, you shall need the Order's trust if you wish to see Ruth. This task will allow that. Journey to Newton. Eliminate the cultists to a person. Then we may speak of getting you an audience with Ruth. Newton contains the Six Pillars Chantry, which was one of the first temples founded after Arcadia's colonization. It's over 100 years old. The cultists are likely profaning it. But even if they aren't, I don't want them there. Our loss of Newton is symbolic. If we cannot protect it, how can we protect Arcadia? You're results-oriented. I can understand that. Fine. Expect a tangible reward on top of the Order's goodwill. I'll withhold my appreciation until this task is complete. May you act within the equation's confines.
We should collect Azza from the ship first. Unless you don't want the benefits of her inside knowledge of the cult.
Free to take.
The Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning is currently off limits to non-essential Order personnel.
Please keep your behavior within acceptable parameters.
Outsider?
Hello, stranger. Mercenary. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Any undue rage you note in my tone is not at all related to the recent coup in my beloved protectorate. I do so dearly love residing in a nest of traitors, waiting for them to capitulate, unable to aid my fellows at home. It is truly a wonderful feeling. The consul is the worst traitor of all! In short, no. No, the Order must capitulate to the sovereign. Only execution awaits the consul, and all others shall regain their senses. All this is beyond my purview, I remind myself. I must remain focused on the Order. Hate is an inaccurate phrase. I find them arrogant and exasperating. Without the Protectorate, this little organization would have no holdings to squat in. I am here because the Sovereign has tasked me with bringing these wayward, pretentious toddlers back into the Protectorate fold. Unfortunately, my time here has taught me that only mass death has the power to change the local hearts and minds. Perhaps enough will be alive to save afterwards. I am not just anyone. The duty of a liaison is of the utmost importance, requiring due diligence and delicacy. Though I suppose it a mite strange that this task fell to me, as I'd urge the vehement tanning of any wayward body bent on disrespecting the Protectorate, which would now include the Protectorate at large. Madness, slandering my beloved Sovereign, following that feckless consul, makes my blood boil. I fear it is not so simple. Though many within the Protectorate still trusted their leaders, a growing minority had begun to question their Sovereign. They argued the losses we've suffered would not have happened if he could truly lead, that his father would not have allowed this to happen. Pah! Anyone who didn't side with the Sovereign will pay, sooner or later. You may count on it. I've proudly served the Protectorate my whole life. Now look at it. Traitors from without, traitors from within. It's enough to make an old man despair. That consul, I never trusted that miserable bastard. His betrayal is so galling, I'd almost care to join the armed forces to bring him to justice myself. But my hands quaver with age, and the Sovereign has tasked me with my own duty. I must see it to completion before all else. Listen, you. The Protectorate does not do delegation. The Protectorate has a will that must be upheld. My presence here is a display of more faith than these fools deserve. Niceties are irrelevant, and likely detrimental to the task at hand. I am here to make the Order see the error of their ways. All other particulates are frivolous.
Oh, hello. Cogitate here often?
Time for discounts.
Are you going to be a problem? Because I have a solution that requires very little computation.
Please direct any inquiries to the Artificer Laureate.
No admittance without the Artificer Laureate's permission.
Did you know around 1,000 species of bacteria live on human skin? A fascinating, if not relevant, bit of trivia. Wouldn't you agree? And prodding me was intended to elicit what result, exactly? At any rate, I am quite conscious, merely waiting. Only whilst simultaneously attempting to repel waves of near paralyzing trepidation, as one does. What? Oh, yes, yes. Dr. Elian assures me that irregular bouts of nausea and perspiration are all acceptable side effects of my position. Oh, but do pardon me. I am easily digressed by a good tangent. What were we discussing? Oh, yes. Now I remember. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates. Oh no. You know what they say about having too many totalizers on the same sum? Nothing gets solved. All the more reason I rely on my own math these days. Less room for error. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand? But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I, don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. All confidential, I'm afraid. Many are still under peer review, but I can assure you, their value is commensurate with, why, the discovery of gravity, or has the potential to be. Oh no, I couldn't possibly ask you to endanger yourself by seeking out these logs. Cloister is rather treacherous, and some of the chapels are difficult to reach by design. However, if you happened upon these chapels and recovered these logs, I would most certainly be interested in their contents. By my reckoning, the amount of logs to be collected is 4. You have that? 4. No more, no less. Each chapel should have at least one somewhere inside. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Impossible, I'm afraid. The Protectorate is rather well entrenched at present, and nothing short of an all-out siege is likely to dislodge them. If you're determined, I recommend consulting with the presiding bishop on the matter. She can tell you more. Don't we all? Nothing beyond what I already included in my 165-page summary of the incident. Why do you ask? His resignation has been duly received and accepted. Where he goes from here or what he does now is up to him. I expect we won't hear from him anytime soon. On a more positive note, the Department of Predictive Analysis's biennial summits will be far less contentious. Landon Wiley was afflicted by that which strickens all scholars, the desire to effect change, to advance the plan at any cost. Were his methods wrong? Unequivocally. Should he have come to me with his concerns? Undeniably. But was his conclusion categorically sound? That remains debatable. Generally, yes. Although it's important to remember that unexpected outcomes can still arise from failed experiments. But let's move on to other topics, please. All this fractious talk is giving me a stomachache and... oh, I just got rid of the last one. And what a history it is. The Order of the Ascendant, along with the Archive, has been headquartered on this moon since the founding of the colony. It was given to us by the matriarch herself. She understood how vital our contributions would be to Arcadian society, which some have forgotten. It is why we're here, in fact. Cloister has two things in abundance: ice and geothermal power. Both made it the ideal location for the Archive, and we've utilized its vast computational power ever since. Who's to say it didn't? Do you think it mere coincidence the Order was ready to quit the Protectorate en masse the moment the invaders arrived? Seems statistically improbable. That's all I'll say. Oh, the garden is a marvel, isn't it? A prime example of how this colony could function if led by science and rationality instead of fear and oppression. Everything within the garden was meticulously selected by a committee of the Order's best archivists to provide for mental clarity and focus. My word, you should have seen the debates over the shrubbery. I've never witnessed such passionate discourse over foliage of all things. What other stray inquiries occupy your mind? Oh yes, I'm aware. Better to know the spy in our midst than receive a replacement more capable of evading notice. Besides, Miss Doyle's harmless, and she serves the best convictions at the parlor, bar none. If you've already spoken with her about the experiment, I suppose there's no use in me playing coy, hmm? As you have cleverly sussed out, Laplace's garden is the subject of an experiment into social conditioning, or curating, if you will, through the use of therapeutic pharmacology. We have been administering a pharmaceutical to the population of the garden via the water supply that aids in emotional regulation. We call it perspective. It's odorless, harmless. Well, apart from the withdrawal, but I can assure you we have our best minds working on that little issue. Minor complication at worst. Irritation, paranoia, increased desire to gamble. Oddly enough, all manageable conditions, of course. We are increasingly operating with fewer resources, however, and most regrettably, we've had to eject more and more subjects from the experiment in order to continue it. In a plan-perfected universe, we would have ample time to wean participants off perspective before sending them out of the garden. But, alas, we do not live in that universe. Yet. Fortunately, your discomfort is not a determining factor in the continuation of the program. Primarily, though not exclusively, because you don't live here, at any rate. I have no interest in debating the ethics of this experiment with a layperson. No offense. But now where were we? Oh, yes. The spy. Did she express that as her intention? You should do as she asks. Get her that sample. This is an unparalleled opportunity to see the shape of Sub Rosa's web. We only need plant the right fly. After collecting the sample, mix it with this liquid tracer. It'll make the drug functionally inert and allow us to track it wherever it shows up next. Not as such. Not at the moment. However, let me put it this way. Any potential for interference above null is worth keeping an eye on. I did not become the Oracle Laureate by getting caught with my pencil down. Here, take this key. It will grant you access to water reconditioning, which you can find on the eastern side of the garden. You will also need this passcode for the terminal inside.
Oh no, dear.
Welcome back, Agent. I trust In what manner can I assist you?
I hope you have good news for me. I knew I had the right person for the job. You've saved me quite the headache. Your reward, as promised. Aw, wondering if you'll ever see me again? Precious. I'll remain in the garden a little while longer, but it would be best if we limited contact with one another. No offense. But who knows? The plan mystifies even the greatest minds. Perhaps our paths will intersect again someday. If it isn't my favorite collaborator. I thought I said we shouldn't be seen together. No need to wait for permission. Ask them.
Welcome back, Agent. I trust Laplace's garden is... In what manner can I assist you? And how did she receive it? Indeed you are. A specimen of superb subterfuge. Pity the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection was shut down years ago. You'd have been a natural candidate.
Please. They'd never make it past the initial evaluation. The 48-hour concurrent theoretical debate /mathalon/obstacle course /marksmanship challenge weeds out most.
Always did find that evaluation a little... immoderate. You made the right choice cooperating with the Order in this matter. Please accept this primer. It's a concoction of my own design. I foresee it being of great value to you. Well, I would not be a very good scientist if I kept my mind closed to other perspectives. Make your case, and I promise to listen. We would never allow that to happen. Perhaps I've kept myself from seeing how fraught this experiment truly is. Recent events have certainly provided good reason to update my risk metrics. Even a desire for progress may sometimes divide one from their senses. You've given me much to consider. I'll speak with the presiding bishop about the matter promptly.